Okay. Okay, Linda, you can start.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our webinar here at Regenesis Business School, The Future of HR in the Digital Age, spotlight on the retail and the wholesale and retail industry. We've got two distinguished ladies with us today discussing this topic within the Kenyan environment regarding the industry that we refer to right now. I'm going to allow these ladies to introduce themselves as we move along, and then I will allow the conversation to go forward. So welcome everybody, and brace yourself for a
recording in progress.
Very exciting and interesting hour and a half that we have to learn from these ladies. I also have my co-facilitator here today who will interject and ask very intelligent questions. He's very good with that. So thank you everybody for signing in. Thank you so much for the speakers to be around us. Before I start, I just want to remind you of this mind-blowing fact. A staggering 55% of retail and wholesale firms is not ready for the wave of the HR digital transformation, a ticking time bomb for productivity and competitiveness. That will definitely be something that we will touch on right? Illuminating your part to this compelling webinar, we are going to be guided by both Mercy and Dr. Grace to have the conversation. I am hearing background noise, events. If you could please ask where it's coming from. Maybe it's from attendees whose mics are on. Please could you manage that? But thank you very much. It is now your time to shine and to brag and to tell us about your vast experience, both Dr. Grace and Mercy. I don't know if there's someone who wants to volunteer to go first, or shall I just call on you and put you on the spot? Dr. Grace, if you don't mind introducing yourself, tell us a little bit about who you are, where you've been, what you're doing, and your interest within this framework that we just introduced.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am a practitioner in the marketing and selling. You cannot market without selling the product. So that is the core of the business. You market, you need money, so you have to sell as well. I've been in the marketing industry for now over 25 years. Largely at Unilever, about 20 years there, cutting across the sales and marketing functions, interacting with all kinds of customers, especially the general trade and modern trade, the retailers, the wholesalers. I'm also a lecturer at the university. I've also taught in the secondary schools. And I'm a trainer, I'm a consultant. I train the sales and marketing teams. And the unique thing about our training, we are at Soccerwise Solutions Limited, is that when we come to you, we seek to understand where you're coming from. Why do you want the training? It is not a training that is theoretical. We come to you, to your place in the marketplace. We go to you, to the retailers, to the wholesalers. We work with your teams for a day and see what they are doing and identify what gaps there are. We then sit with the management and they also brief us on the gaps they feel their teams have. Then we customize various training modules. We have several of them. Then we share what we want to train your people on. Once we're in agreement, we come to the classroom and train them. We have 3 sessions in a day and then an assessment in the afternoon so that we know whether they have understood what they were looking for. Then we go to the marketplace with them to practice what we learned together. And this is coaching, mentoring, and helping them. Then after that, we give you a way that will help you track your skill levels and all that. And we keep touch with you until you tell us we are good to go. Leave us now. That's what we do. Thank you. And at the university, I train in marketing, and my course is very practical based, case studies, which are not from the internet. And every session when I meet with my students, there is a small quiz that they will do, and that cumulatively adds to their marks. So that is what I do, and I enjoy my work. Thank you.
And thank you so much, Dr. Grace, and you are most welcome. Dr. Grace, you have such experience and in my conversations with you before as well, an excellent mind. So I cannot wait to tap it and hear from you how we are going to bridge this gap that might exist within the retail world, but we will take on those things. I think analyzing the training needs of an organization is so important, and then addressing it is even better, right? So looking forward to having those conversations with you, talking about how you do what you do. Then we have Mercy. Mercy, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Sure, Linda. Good afternoon. I'm glad to be here, and I'm looking forward to an exciting session. Mine, basically, I've been in the automotive industry for slightly more than 9 years, doing sales, and I've been at the retail end most of the time. Solution provider from testing and giving solution, suspension, tires, minor services, major services. I like it when my customers come and they leave smiling. Others come with issues that they have no idea what's happening. And by the day they're leaving, they are my biggest supporter. They are our biggest marketers, because once they're satisfied, they always refer us to more. And that has been the biggest marketing tool I've ever seen, word of mouth. And I really bent on that. So definitely I'm here to learn more and share on the retail end, and looking forward to an amazing session. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you very much, Mercy. We do appreciate you being here today as well. I think that customer-facing experience and how you applied and how you've gotten where you've gotten is so important to also share and remind people how important it is that we do have that, whether it's face-to-face or whether it is, as we are doing now, essential to connect with the customer when it comes to this industry. So thank you very much for being here, Mercy. Thank you. Then Bhupesh, if you would like to tell everybody your brilliance, it's always a pleasure to hear every time.
Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you for those kind words. Absolutely thrilled to be a part of this women empowered panel.
I like it. Yeah.
Women leading all the way, and I think there's no better site than that. So my name is Bhupesh, just for the audience and for the panelists. I am designated as CEO Emerging Markets for Regenesis Business School. It's a school which requires no introduction, but yes, we are present in 4 or 5 different continents, and our current expansion happens to be in East Africa, where I am personally deployed. We have already made our bases in Kenya, Nigeria, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, and like they say, Kenya happens to be the gateway to entire East Africa. So that's what we are doing. We're expanding ourselves where we already are present in Europe, India, South Africa is our biggest campus. And in my current role, I am responsible for building businesses, establishing businesses, meeting with people like you, and driving those partnerships. Excited to be a part of this panel. Like I said, a women empowerment panel, and looking at the retail and the wholesale. Millions of independent businesses are the cornerstones of African commerce. And now they're diversifying, they are digitizing, partnering with modern retailers, trying to reach out to a new set of customers. Pandemic kind of fast-tracked it. So it will be great to see, how this unfolds. So back to you, Linda. Thank you so much, and looking forward to the conversation.
Thank you very much, Bhupesh. Yes, he's very humble in his introduction always, but we appreciate that. I think you nailed it with the Women Empowered panel there, it's always something to be grateful for, that there is such representation. So thank you very much for noticing that too. And then just for everyone who don't know me, I'm Linda Coetzee. I also am a colleague, I'm a colleague of Bhupesh. I work for Genesis Business School here in South Africa. My core function, if I can put it that way, is to work in potential in everything that I do, whether it is working for my internal or my external clients, whether it's a student or it's someone within the business that I'm helping, working, advising. That is what that is what drives me, and that is my passion. So I think if you talk about job descriptions and things like that, I do have a title, but I live beyond it, because that's what my purpose is. So again, thank you very much, everybody, and I'm going to kick off this conversation by asking you, I suppose, one of the cardinal questions that will enlighten those who are listening both online. So welcome to you, everybody listening online to the live stream, as well as those who have joined this session via Zoom. But let me ask, and whether Mercy or Dr. Grace, whether you would like to take the question, you're more than welcome to do so. But what, in your views, are the key challenges facing the sector in this new digital period? And if you could, I know that there are listeners from all over the world, from South Africa, from India, from all over the world. Our students global. So if you could talk to us a little bit now, so that we can frame that. What, in your view, are the key challenges for the sector in this new digital age?
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
I'll take this using 3 pillars. The first one is the mindset of the wholesalers and the retailers. They have a traditional mindset. So there's a lot of resistance because of that. They believe in the manual way of doing things. They want to take inventory, physically go count. They want to count their stocks. They want to record in a physical book. They want to handle cash, And oftentimes you've actually heard about issues where wholesalers, traders have been waylaid by robbers, taking so much money to the bank. They lose so much from such incidences simply because they have not embraced the technology of digitally transferring money, or believing that the stocks can actually be kept using in a computer and you can track the sellout and the stocks coming in, the stocks going out, that you can track them. So that has been a very big issue. Mindset is everything. If you cannot change the mind, it becomes difficult to change anything else. So I think this is the first pillar where we need to work on. The other one, which now follows closely with this, is that they're not tech savvy. They lack the skills to go digital. So they will hide behind this resistance because they don't know how to do it. And they have a lot of money. These are rich people, these are wealthy people. And they don't want to accept that they have that gap and that they need to be assisted. And then the kind of data that they have in their stores is personal data. Money is very sensitive to them. And for this reason, they're not able to trust anybody with their finances, their financial resources, be they stocks, be they cash. They're also afraid that this could have tax, implications. If you know how much I'm selling, the government, the revenue authorities might come after me. So they're also hiding behind that. There's also this feeling that there will be a lot of requirement for resources, like computers. They need to invest in computers instead of these black books where they record their things. They also feel that they will need to invest in the internet, mobile data. In Kenya, it is not cheap. What is maybe cost-friendly is Wi-Fi. Again, even this is something for them because you have to pay it monthly. Again, there is a lot of confusion There are so many mobile apps being used by various manufacturers. We want you to install this only for us. Another company comes, we want you to install this system for us. So at the end of the day, there is all this overcrowding. And because of the confusion, they tend just to reject everything. So we need to find a way of going around these challenges. So in a nutshell, those are the key challenges that are picked from the marketplace that make the wholesalers and retailers not want to go digital. They want to remain analog somehow. And I may comment here and say, failing to change will result into them becoming dinosaurs. You know those ones we hear they were in the beginning. This is the surest way to get extinct if someone does not go digital. Thank you.
With the times. Thank you so much. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. Mindset, tech savvy, and having the physical resources to conduct the business as it should be conducted. So I maybe Mercy, if you would like to add to that.
Yeah, I would like to add. Yeah, thank you, Linda. Can you allow me to add on one thing that I consider also as a challenge? Thank you for that very well articulated, Dr. Kiboro. On top of the list also, I will also add one where the ever-changing consumer needs. Consumer needs are very dynamic at the moment. And currently the retailers and the wholesalers, they're driven by what the consumer wants. It's not the other way around the way it used to be. So this leads to a more tailor-made approach to consumers, whereby the way maybe I would handle Bhupesh, the way I will handle Dr. Kiboro, the way I will handle Linda at the wholesale or retail front is more personalized. And the way maybe I handle you this year or this month, next month you come, you expect me to handle you differently. Because the consumer, the wholesaler, they are more informed, information is everywhere. So that one I would also look at it as a challenge because the consumer behavior is ever changing. Back to you, Linda, and thank you.
Thank you, Mercy. I think also one of the things that you are highlighting, and this is basically for the participants also to understand, listening to us, within the East African culture, informal traders carry a lot of your sector. So yes, when Dr. Grace refers to the black books and like to handle cash and the fear of the tax man. And declaring those type of things. I'm assuming, Dr. Grace, you're referring to the informal market. Yeah. So informal markets, ladies and gentlemen, within the retail environment, within the East African context, is very, very prominent and vibrant. And also speaks, maybe Mercy, also speak to that changing needs of the consumer who wants it now, who wants it ready, who wants it done, and who wants it from a certain producer, maybe, if it is something fresh or how we do business in East Africa. So it's also just to provide those part of the panel with that context of the informal and formal market. If we have people from a quote unquote first world country that doesn't really understand, but how can you not do this, so just to bring that perspective in as well. So this is a great challenge within the environment, and Dr. Grace, you started touching on it. What impact does that have on the business? I mean, not using what is in the introduction, we said not being ready for the digital transformation. What impact will that have on productivity and competitiveness? Dr. Grace, you referred to it as a dinosaur becoming extinct, and people not understanding that concept. That we cannot do business as usual. How do you shift those minds? Because that's part of what you do, Dr. Grace. If I could direct that question towards you, as how do you start on that first pillar that you identified?
What has happened? We were assisted by a problem. Sometimes you say challenges, problems become opportunities. So we have the distributors with their stocks in their pallets and all these things. Then life be it as it is, there are some people who are not very honest. So you get a high value product especially like the personal care products, the facial creams and all. These particular wholesalers, the people who would come in would pilferage and leave the boxes looking very nice, like they have something. And then at one particular instance, in Kenya shilling, someone lost like 1 million from pilferage because you've been counting your boxes 1, 2, 200, tick. You know, you count. Then when now they are loaded for sale, the customers open and say, no, I'm missing so much. And then they realize that this allowing people to just go in and count, they're actually encouraging the people to go in and steal because the people know as long as the boxes are here, you're good to go. Nobody weighs them. Nobody weighs the outer to find out, is it 200 kg or is it 120 kgs? So how many dozens have been removed? So this prompted now the idea of them actually weighing and finding out whether this is working. Of course, now that brings in a bit of technology. And then we now have the opportunity to introduce the system and tell you guys, we have something called, say, for example, lever edge, whereby when the stocks come from the warehouse, they go straight into the store, and you know, we have X amount going in. When it comes out, we have X amount that has come out. So you don't need somebody to hang around in the store doing what? Stocks in, stocks out. And at this particular time, the owner can stand there, the trusted person can stand there, watch the stocks put in and watch the stocks removed. So this actually helped us because they realized you don't need, you know, human beings running around the store. That is when they were doing all these things. So that actually changed the mindset. They started seeing technology is helpful to us. It is not a disadvantage at all. The other thing that helped us to change the mindset is the idea of out of stocks. You think you have so much you had counted. Someone sold, but you did not have a way of tracking the sellout. So in your mind, you think you've got so many stocks until the big order comes and you realize you're out of stock. You need a week to get your stocks ordered, delivered, and all this. So they were able now to buy into the idea of automation, whereby your sellout is already recorded, so that now you can actually have an automatic replenishment from the manufacturer, such that when you've got a distributor, a wholesaler, you do not go to count how many stocks are remaining in the store. Is we sold so many cases, you sold out so many cases, we need to replenish this. Your running rate is so much for week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, quarter 1, quarter 2. They vary. So the system proposes to you the order quantity based on that. I would call it artificial intelligence. So now this helped them to realize that if I have out of stock, we normally say in Kenya, selling out of stock is not a sale because you're saying, I don't have. That is what you're selling. And so they were able to say, we are able to sell more, we are able to save on losses, and we are able to save on not having stock out. Again, it becomes easy. I don't have to have headaches about all these manual things that are happening. My life becomes easier and more comfortable. And I also look a bit good in the
More
eyes
professional.
of
Yes, more professional. True.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
And talked about that productivity, right? Because you can do things more efficiently and focus your attention on customer care, focus your attention on individuals coming into your store and giving them those individual attention that we are now demanding as consumers in the world, right? And that's also because of the digital transformation. We want individual attention. We're okay with.
Can I add something else?
Yes, of course.
Now, you see, now with this, you also realize that you save a lot of costs.
Yeah.
Because when now you're talking about replenishment, you don't have another salesperson going round because the app is able to tell you this is what you require. So you save the cost on the personnel and the vans that this person would have gone around with or a motorbike, you also save on that cost. Again, today, people are very much digital, even consumers. I want to pay using my mobile phone. We have something we call M-Pesa. We've got pay bills, till numbers, whereby I can actually pay a transaction for somebody in a supermarket right now, and then they'll show them and they'll see it in the system, and the goods can come. I don't have to give someone 10,000 Kenya shilling, and then they pocket 9, they pocket 1 and buy with 9. I'll pay directly to the till, and I'm assured of that. So there is that issue. And then when you come to promotions, execution, you see previously, and this is something I actually witnessed personally, you'd tell the salespeople, this is a promotion that you're going to execute. Buy 12, get 1 free, maybe for example. And then the salespeople will design their own. They will write something, but not with a carbon copy, and give the retailer. So for so many dozens, you get 1 free. Then they'll sell the 3. If they told you for 2 dozens, you get 1 free, instead of 1, 12 plus 1, which we call the baker's dozen. So there was a lot of, the companies were losing out because the wholesalers, the retailers, they're not happy. They keep saying, you do not give us promotions, you're not supporting us. Now with the app is the one that gives you the free item. And there's a record in the system that so much was given out. So again, now executing promotions become very easy. Then again, you can track your payments, where you're paying out and receiving the money back. There's one scenario, I have some experience, sorry, you allow me to give you this, where the salesman used to collect money cash, but instead of remitting, they'll just say they have not paid. They have not paid. Until at one time, the person was actually building a stone house. And people started wondering, where is this money coming from? And that is when they actually realized, by back checking, that the customers had paid, but the person was pocketing their money. You can imagine if the money was being remitted straight to the bank. You only come with a message, and the message comes to the wholesaler, to the retailer. So you're able to make sure that that does not happen. What about keeping data? They tell you we weren't selling and we never got customers. Their shops were closed. Sometimes it's not true. Today we have something we call geocoding, which is the GPS. If you're there, I will know you're there using the phone. If you never got there, we can also say you never got there. Now, this helps the manufacturer with coverage. If I'm supposed to see 40 stores in a day, how many have I seen? I can actually tell where you are. Today, when we are going to meet the sales people, we don't even ask them where they are. We just drive in and land there. And we tell you, how are you? You've seen so many shops. This is how you've sold, and you have got so many to go. You can see how it works so well for us. What about the distribution of products? How do I know where my products are? Numeric coverage. How do I know the lines per productive call per store? It's using the system. How do I know the product that has never been sold in a store? It's using that document. How do I know the ones which are sold regularly? Again, it's using the technology. How do I know the running rate of each store? How much I'm supposed to sell where? It's again using technology, such that if we are going on a certain route, I know how much needs to be loaded into the truck, so that there are no stockouts and we do not leave out items which could have sold and we left them behind. So the impact has been big, but like Mercy said, there's a red flag here. The customer relationship management has to be done. Otherwise, we will lose them in the passion for technology. So we also
Yes.
need to get a situation whereby this is what we do. We call the wholesalers to a meeting in a nice hotel for a day or two. We pay the expenses, we meet them, they talk to us, they have fun, and then we're able to connect with them. So that is how we've been able to make sure that we are not losing them. They have the personal touch, like Mercy said. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. I think you very, very clearly illustrated the value of technology throughout the whole value chain within the retail environment, from almost want to say from farm to food to finger, if you can put it that way, right?
Yeah.
So and the value thereof. Missy, within your environment, within your experience, would you like to add to that, and how maybe digitization has changed how we look at one another, and what the Dr. Gray said here, what are the things that we need to look out for to make sure that we still stay connected? Because you said that in your introduction, that's the love. That's why you love where you are. Yeah.
Thank you, Linda. For us to stay connected in the retail industry, first of all, we have to be customer-centric. The thoughts, the vision, the mission, everything is geared towards the customer. What do they want? How do they want it? Where do they want it? At what price do they want it? And when do they want it? When you are customer-centered, you are able to articulate your processes, your products, your payment methods, everything you do around them. Because at the end of the day, the customer is king, figuratively speaking, because we are there to solve their problems normally. I'm normally told by my boss that once you solve their problem, they'll have a reason to come back. Let them pay you for solving their problems. The other thing I'm told at the customer end is stop selling the products, stop selling your services, sell an experience. Experience is personalized. So once I'm able to give that, I'm able to know Bhupesh comes to my shop, what do they get? What do they normally get? And this normally I get from the records because everything is entered into the system. I have, for example, their registration number. I have their vehicle number. So once they can even give a phone call, I'm on the way. What do you want? And by the time they're getting there, I take the limit time to sort them out and they go because of the relationship we have built. Some people, when they come to the shop once or twice or the second time, I'm able to refer to them by their name, the dealers, the wholesalers. And this gives a more personalized touch. It is their birthday. They're opening a new store, for example, our dealers. We are part of the process. We are part of the win. Sometimes in this business industry, especially with the dollar effect, some have been forced to close shop. We work with them, we find out, we empathize what is happening. It's not only about the win only. They've also encountered some losses. Like one of our biggest dealer lost a loved one. We were part of that. So we are not only there, it's not transactional only. We go far and beyond. So some of them started with when they were new in the business, we have worked with them. We have seen them grow. Sometimes we sit down and talk about it. Their win is our win as well. So for me, that has always worked. And we are getting out from the transactional model of business to being more of a relationship. I know maybe we cannot fight this industry only on price. Relationship has to be there. Sometimes they know where they can get an item, machine or two less. But why do they keep coming back? It's because of the relationship. And that has always carried the day. Thank you, Linda.
I like what you were saying there, that personal customer experience that you are providing and that you are adding value to. Bhupesh, I definitely know with your background within digitization, digital and internet things, if I can put it that way, you can definitely shed light here as well. How do you keep, or maybe just add what you wanted to say, because there's a question in my mind that I want within this digital relationship or this digital age, how do we keep personal customer experiences alive? So Bhupesh, I saw your hand. What did you want to say before I so rudely interrupted you? And then maybe if you could lead the conversation or just answer from your experience as well.
Sure. Thank you so much, Linda. And I think two very different facets brought up by, our esteemed panelists. While Dr. Grace talked about the entire technology acceleration and why there is a need, and I love the fact that I'm a big fan of Dr. Grace of the skill set, mindset, and the tool set platform, and you highlighted that. And I think for any change to happen, it has to happen in this order. The mindset, the tool set, and then the skill set. We talk too much about skill set, but it all starts with a decent mindset and our ability to accept those changes. And I think we've seen this in every industry now, with right from computers being introduced to, and at every level. And with Linda, it's such a deja vu, with you, because almost every industry that we talk about agriculture, we talk about manufacturing, we've talked about retail, and this is, and a lot of our students and other people who join us regularly, they would witness this, how and it's so synonymous in every industry, right? And then it is also synonymous that, while technology will make life easier and everything, however, it will start with a good mindset and our ability to accept those changes. And moving to Mercy, Mercy highlighted a very, very big factor, the human factor, the customer experience. And it's not me who's saying it, it's the Boston Consulting Group, which is one of the leaders. They say that, these retailers are still going to dominate the market for a very, very long time. And I think that's precisely, apart from, what Mercy cited very clearly, is the customer experience. I think, one or two other factors also they highlight is the proximity, the flexibility, the convenient operating hours. Those small things, and typically in an African continent, wherein it's very personalized. You typically buy your groceries or you get your cars done with a specific workshop and you go to a specific salon. It's the retail and the wholesale. It's primarily driven by customer experience, and I couldn't agree more, Mercy, on that. That while there is changes, while there will be modern trade which will be introduced, already has been introduced, in fact, and pandemic accelerated that. Whether or not we wanted it, pandemic accelerated, and I think typically in an African continent, while we despise change initially, but we accept it also very gracefully.
Yes.
and
Yes, we
we've
have.
seen this, and then we've seen this across multiple sectors. Proximity, the customer experience, the flexibility. These are the factors which will keep driving, the industry for a long time. And that's how I feel that still, the conventional trade will still be dominating the market, say about 65-70%, which I just agree with the data. So back to you, Linda. You can, that those are my 2 cents.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate your input there, Bhupesh. I want to also just add to that, if that's okay, and maybe Dr. Grace or Mercy, you can just reiterate. Very tacit. We still want to smell the spice that we are buying. We still want to feel and touch the garment we're about to, or the fruit, or experience, within the environment that you used to be, Mercy. Experience that, whatever has been done to my car, which for some people are very precious assets in their lives. But experience what you are doing to it, and what be there, because you are touching something that is very valuable to me. But I think that human aspect is something that we keep as a consumer, that you keep. It's precious to you. I wonder where we are moving towards. If we do think of digitization, if we do think of online, if we do think of moving the markets a little bit, but like Bhupesh also highlighted, this is going to take some time.
Yes, okay.
Because we're still social beings. And I think that's something that we need to highlight there. But and what you've also highlighted, Dr. Grace, is that throughout the value chain, productivity and competitiveness is going to I said I was going to go to 40, and then my locator on my cell phone told me, because that's also how technology can assist, even with the human resource aspect of managing in an organization.